Hi everyone, I'm Adam from Trade with Precision and welcome to Vantage Markets Inside the Chart. So first of all, let's have a look at the dollar index, which has been weakening recently. It's currently going through a correction phase, a retracement phase on the weekly, and actually here from a daily perspective, I'm expecting this week to see us encounter some resistance here. Should we break through, then obviously we're going to continue to see obviously that stronger dollar. But for now, if that weakness continues and we still have a major level of support and resistance to break through. Alternatively, what I'll be looking for here is a break to the downside. So I've got a bit of a line in the sand here. Technically, looking at price action itself, it all looks very nice and healthy, and so there's no reason to suspect that this overall trend will change. I'm looking to see that dollar index actually break this week, heading lower, which actually means that that trend will resume. And if that is the case, then what I'll be looking for here from the euro dollar perspective is a resumption of that trend to the upside. So just having a look here on the weekly, you can see that it has actually started a retracement. I was expected to head down towards 1.16, and so that is very well a possibility. However, just also drawing your attention to it here on the daily. If it decides it doesn't want to weaken anymore, I'd really like just to see it just touch the top of that 1631. We could see that happen this week. And then I'd like to see this actually start to break to the upside. So on the lower time frames, what I'll also be keeping an eye on is looking to see a bit of bullish divergence creeping in here, starting to see the euro dollar go sideways, and then ultimately start to change its trend by breaking to the upside. So that is on my trading plan for the euro dollar this week. If we have a look at cable is definitely retracing here on the weekly, and so it's in this area here where I would expect it to potentially find some support, but it's not looking as strong, and in fact it has had this bearish divergence for a while. So cable compared to euro dollar, cable is actually looking relatively weak, and so for now there might be further downside before it balances out. Interestingly enough, Aussie dollar as well, continuing to push higher, really trying to break through resistance here, but not very, very strong. If you look at it from a weekly perspective, you can see wicks both above and below. So the Aussie dollar is just marginally stronger than the US dollar and is kind of shuffling past it. Kiwi dollar is slightly weaker. So essentially a lot of these are not really doing much because they're pretty much as strong as the US dollar. Now, dollar yen, beautiful finish last week. Very nice and bullish this week. So I'm going to continue to look for day trading opportunities to the upside here, not just on dollar yen, but on the yen crosses, euro yen, Aussie yen, Kiwi yen, Swissy yen, and possibly CAD yen as well. It's also continuing to look bullish. Really nice day on Friday and a really strong finish. Let's have a look at dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, interesting enough here, we have got clear bullish divergence, and I would say that a break to the upside here, to me, would be a clear signal that it's going to continue to strengthen. So for me, I see this as a double bottom. So dollar CAD, interestingly enough, hinting at a bit of dollar strength. The Canadian dollar itself looking pretty weak, and we've got dollar yen as well doing its own thing. Then if we have a look at dollar Swissy also starting to produce a little bit of bullish divergence locally, though, or most recently, actually, this potentially breaking to the downside here. So particularly with this bullish candle here, I want to see if we break the high or the low. If we break the low, then my expectation is we're going to continue to the downside, which sounds like a statement of the obvious, but this is a relatively critical candle because it will decide most likely the direction for the remainder of the week. All right, stepping away from that, let's have a quick look at gold. So gold within its weekly time frame is stuck within a wedge, lower highs, higher lows. Shorter term though, it is attempting to shift into an uptrend. It has actually broken the high so far. I want to see this follow through. So this week, I'm going to be looking for gold to break higher, try to make another run back up for that 3,400 level. That is what I'm looking for at the moment. If it just suddenly shifts and reverses, then it's because there just is no clear trend at the moment. But Friday certainly saw an attempt, certainly by silver, saw a really strong break to the upside. A little bit of bearish divergence there, but overall, silver looking very, very bullish at the moment. So interestingly enough, silver may offer some opportunities this week, even potentially over gold, which is not the norm. It's normally gold. Let's have another look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to climb. It looks very, very healthy on the higher time frames. Now it's entering that overextended phase. So from what I would be looking for here on the daily, any kind of pullbacks here back into the moving averages for me would represent high probability buying opportunities. So we do need a retracement. We are overextended, and ideally we will get that this week, a bit of a pullback this week. Right, let's move on and have a look at the Dow. The Dow doing a little bit of a potential change of trend here. It's a consolidation effectively. I would only mention that it is sitting sitting at a key level of resistance, and it's a bit overextended on the weekly. So one of the things, and it's a bearish candle, we did actually close low. So one of the things that could potentially play out over the coming weeks, especially as we head towards September, which seasonally or historically is a bearish month, one of the things which is only a few weeks away or several weeks away is we could see a break and a bit of a correction down towards this 50-period moving average, or potentially down towards that 42,000 level. Now, I want to be clear here, that is my shorter term sort of potential plan here. We'll see if this is going to be the case. And again, it'll still be within the weekly uptrend. We're just potentially due for a bit of a correction there. So this week, I'll be looking to see if we do break the lows here, and if we see a continuation down. But I'm not going to read anything bigger into it, anything longer term into it, simply that we might just be getting a bit of a weekly correction down to the nearest support or resistance levels. The same with the S&P, the same with the NASDAQ here. You can see it's starting to slow down. We've got a bit of bearish divergence creeping in here. We might very well just get a small correction now if we do break the low of these candles, a correction down to the nearest, most recent resistance levels to test those for support. So that may well happen this week. It may also decide to consolidate. It's definitely slowing down. The question at this point in time is that weekly going to start a retracement this coming week or not? Then if we just have a look at the UK, again, if we look at the UK, again, all-time highs, looking relatively strong. Possibly it may want to come back down for a couple of days and test this, but then continue to the upside. So again, cautiously bullish on this one as well. Let's have a look at the DAX. The DAX is already on its way back into the moving averages. It could potentially struggle with that level, so we could be seeing the build up to a bit of resistance. And again, remember that historically, late August, September's, possibly even October, often sees a bit of a market correction, and so we could be in the early stages of that. I'm looking for the pullback into the moving averages, and then we'll see if we recover and finish higher this week. But there is a very fair possibility this week we could see the market struggle to go sideways, or possibly start a correction to the downside. And that is it from me. I want to wish you nothing but the best this coming week. There should be some very good opportunities, especially in the currency markets and potentially in commodities. And I look forward to chatting to you next week. Thank you very much.